Right.
I can never do this dance.
Mm. Hey. Hey. Ay. Hello, 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 my lovely people on the studios, Zoila Garman, and I am so excited to introduce you to
Shemaine!
Shemaine.
Shemaine!
Hey, how you doing?
I'm really good. How are you?
Amazing. I'm feeling amazing as well. I am feeling blessed as well to have you in the studios. It's an amazing honor to have you
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Charmaine, I want to start with this crazy, boring question, right? We have to know who you are, what you're doing, and where you're coming from. So, if you want to introduce yourself with that question, please.
It's like those icebreakers, isn't it? My name is Shemaine Robinson,
Yeah.
and I currently live in POWERFULl, and
Yeah.
I was self-employed business
Yeah.
coach,
Yeah.
strategist development.
Yeah.
I'm 55 in about 4 weeks, so I'm feeling a bit old at the moment. And as we were discussing offline, I'm a bit of a hybrid. Been here, there, and everywhere.
Charmaine, there is a lot of questions I have to ask you,
Cool.
right? One of those questions is, do you know, you've been in this about well-being and, kind of trying to get people back into business,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Can you share with us one of those stories or experiences that you had when you were a child that now makes sense to you?
Oh, good question. Good question. All right. So it's a personal one. I
Mhm.
never really fitted in.
Yeah.
I was bullied a lot at school. My
Yeah.
parents moved around a lot.
Yeah.
They were publicans. My dad was ex-military. I went to 13 schools by the time I was
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
And never really fitted in. Was always a people pleaser. Couldn't understand why I
Mhm.
didn't fit it in.
Mhm.
And then it was probably in the last 4 years. It's kind of like, I don't think I'm meant to fit in.
Right.
I'm not one of those people that
You just accept it.
yeah. Just it's like I was fighting the wrong stream.
Uh-huh.
And everybody's not meant to fit in because
Yeah.
we're all individual.
Yeah. We are different.
We are different.
And if you are kind of avoiding or hiding your skills or the person who you are, you're not blessing me really.
No, because we hide from people. We hide. We
Mhm.
mask. We mask.
Yeah.
To fit in, and then
Yeah.
we don't because they don't see the real true you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everything, and then the wheels come off completely.
And then how do you feel now? As in, do you think that was teaching you something and now you feel more aligned?
Yeah, it took me a long time to
Mhm.
appreciate that life teaches us. Life is nothing but a season of lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't learn your lesson, you will repeat it and repeat
Definitely,
it and
yeah.
repeat it
Yeah.
and repeat it
Yeah.
and repeat it. Yeah, until you either die
Mhm.
or you go, hang on a minute, something here is
Yeah.
going to change.
So how do you cope with that? What do you do in order to feel like, okay, this is okay, I'm gonna just accept it and do the most of it?
Do the most of it. Because of my job, so I'm a business strategist and development manager.
Mhm.
I live in my head. It's all about the control. It's about being 3 steps forward. It's about understanding what's going on. So I had to give up all control
Mhm.
and surrender
Mhm.
and just accept that what is meant to be is meant to be.
Yeah.
What's the lesson here?
Yeah.
What am I not taking notice of?
Yeah.
And do the internal work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you talk about doing the internal work, what type of work do you do
Personally on myself or with
with yourself?
with myself.
Mhm.
I really struggled with journaling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sporadic with my journaling.
Yeah.
So I do the journaling. I do a lot of. I read oracle cards do my oracle cards every day.
Yeah.
and then disagree with the card that I've got, because I'm like, really?
Am I going through the process again? Thank you.
What do you mean I need to nap? I don't need to nap. It's time for a nap card. I don't need to nap. I need, like, got to make some money this month. So there was a lot of resistance. So I do a lot of. I don't actually follow a process. I don't have a routine.
Yeah.
I do what I feel needs to be done at the time. So it could be a meditation, could be journaling, could be taking myself up to the sea. Could be looking. I asked for billboard signs.
Yeah.
So it could be like, I want a billboard sign. So on a rainy day on a holiday recently, 3 butterflies turned up. I went, I'll take that as a billboard.
Yeah.
So those
that's
kind of
nice then. So you take like whatever is coming.
Yeah.
Towards you and use it the best of your abilities.
Yeah. And then ask what lessons are in. Like, why is this happening? What's going on? What do I need to learn?
Do you use that skill to help other business owners to feel more, I don't know, more conscious of what they are going through?
Oh yeah, 100%. One of the things I get them to, I call it the land of potential.
Yeah.
The playground.
Yeah.
They're a 5-year-old kid. They can go just go and play. They go. But I have to drag them screaming and kicking.
Yeah.
And then when they get in there, they're like, well, I've just had a client who's just done it and just done a 40k launch this.
Yeah.
She's just done a 40k month.
Oh wow.
So she's like, I'm going to play the land of potential.
Oh yeah.
And she's more of a control freak than I am. So yeah.
There is hope.
There's hope.
Oh my. So do you work as a freelancer or you work for other companies?
I predominantly work as a freelancer.
Yeah.
I will do the occasion. God, you can hear the resistance in my voice. Can you? I will occasionally do some work with companies, but it's not my strong. It's not where my skills lie. I come from a corporate background.
Yeah.
And there's too much politics in the business.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah.
So while a department might want to change, something might want to change.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit into the overall mission of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are better. Yeah. Self-employed. The self-employed are
Yeah,
better.
that's a big question there. Because I do agree 100%. Like people are better doing their own craft, their own, I don't know, development and their own things. But then there is a big need on the background for you to pay the rent.
Oh, yeah.
And when that doesn't agree with your pocket money, there's a big issue there.
There is, but I've been bankrupt twice. First time was because I was blown up by the IRA.
Oh my.
And the second time was due to a personal family reason. And one thing I have learned is the money will always come.
Yeah.
The money comes. Yeah, and I have been there, don't get me wrong, I don't know when I'm going to pay my rent or put food on the table or pay the bills.
Yeah.
But it comes. It's that money's just money. And
Money's
that was
just
a
money.
lesson.
What do you think about money? What are your thoughts about them? Since we are talking about money, what advice, after telling me what you think about money, what advice can you tell us to our followers here?
Oh God, it could be slightly controversial. So I am training in something called Sacred Money Archetypes, which is
what is that?
So it's a program that was developed by a coach in America called Kendall Summerhawk.
Oh, nice.
And she's kind of taken the branding principles and applied it to money. So we all have a money archetype. Yeah. And my top money archetype is alchemist. Which really surprised me when I did the quiz, because I was like, alchemist? But it's backed up by 2 others, and the 2 others, because it works in a triangle, the other one I've got is maverick and an accumulator, which fits in perfectly, because I was like, now this makes sense. Yeah. Because it's like, I get paid for ideas, so I get paid for something which isn't tangible. I get paid for something that's not tangible. But I always want to know the figures, so I want to know the budget. Yeah. You want to be in control. I want to be in control. Yeah. My whole life has been a season of control. Yeah. But what I've learned I've been self-employed 24 years this year. But what I've learned is the story we're told about money is a lie. There's so much emphasis put on money. A lot of pressure. Yeah, especially for young entrepreneurs who want to do the things. If you don't have the money, no, that's not true. That's not true. Money will, and there's this accumulators will hang on to money,
Yeah.
whereas money's like water, it has to flow.
Yeah.
So actually, sometimes...
So that's why it's called currency.
See, yes, yeah, currency.
Current.
So the connection with the current is not only the water, but the electrical magnetic field of the energy around it.
Yeah.
So money likes to flow, and when you are if you're in lack, you'll get more lack. It's like what you were saying earlier. Yeah. The more, so if you're like, am I going to pay my bills? You will get another bill. Something else will come through. And then don't get me started on the whole flip story of like, if we tell us money's evil, you've got to work hard for your money.
Many people think money is evil. Completely, totally agree with you. No, totally agree with you.
The rich will screw us over.
Yeah.
I know a lot of very rich people who you wouldn't even think were rich.
Yeah.
Who do not screw people over. And I know a lot of people who are very poor who screw people over every single day.
Yeah, because money takes you to a place of desperation. Isn't
because
it?
we've been taught that. Yeah. We've been this emphasis
the whole
on
story
money.
of
this whole emphasis on money is distracting people from what you were saying earlier about what they want to do. Because straight away people will go, how am I going to make money doing this?
Exactly.
How many
and then I've noticed that people get distracted on, I want to get X, Y, Z, but then don't think that much on what you want to get, but the process of it, or where are you at the moment? What can you change at the moment so that you can progress one step? You know what I mean? Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process.
So, do you think that there are a lot of misconceptions?
Yeah, there is. I'll give you a good example. So I've got a client. She's a photographer, an amazing photographer. She concentrates on weddings and boudoir. Yeah. And she's got this story that she wants a Land Rover Discovery. Yeah. And she can't afford it. She told herself quite regularly she can't afford it. Yeah. Her and her partner went out. They need to buy a new car. They've got two big, massive Malamutes, husky kind of dogs. Beautiful, they're beautiful and
dangerous.
Oh God, they're so soft, I tell you. And in her head, she's on the Sacred Money archetype. She's a celebrity romantic, so it's about having that that luxury and people looking at that kind of thing. So they were looking for a new car. Yeah. The people, it was her buying it. The sales showman that they were walking into the showroom were treating her not the way she wanted to be treated. Yeah. She just said, "That'll say it. We'll go into Land Rover Discovery." She walked. Not only so, a couple of things happened. It was like a domino effect. She walked in. Yeah. General manager was her brother's best friend. Yeah. They're all standing there in Converse and trainers and like she's like they weren't dressed in suits. Yeah. They sat her down and they went within 20 minutes. They went, "Well, do you want this car for 4 days?" She went, "Yes, please." Gosh. So she had test drove the car for 4 days. Yeah. They worked out the finances and she was like, "I can afford this."
Oh my.
I know, but in her head she was like, "I can't afford
too much.
It's too much." Yeah. What then came up was she could afford the car. She couldn't afford the upkeep on the car. So then it was like, well, how many more clients do you need?
And then she started working on that.
Work towards it. And that opened up a creative element in her of, actually, I want to be doing this work.
Then do you think that, well, I'm going to ask you a question. Where do you think we get those beliefs from?
Society. Whatever it's your tribe. Whatever you're brought up with.
As in parents.
Past a lot of it with women is I was going to say genetics, that's not the word. It's generational. Yeah, because women never had money 100 years ago.
Or the right to have money.
The right to have money. You know, and everything was taken away. You know, even if you never inherited anything, it all went to the male in the family. So there's a lot of history behind it. But then school, friends, people. If you want to fit into a certain group. And you're not earning that kind of money, you know, like this kind of schools you go to, you know, if you go to a private school on a sponsorship or something like that, like you're always going to be talked about as the poor kid in the rich school. Your jobs you go into, you know, I went to work in the city and it was all double-barreled names and they'd all been to Eton and Oxford together, and I was like, yeah, I'm from Manchester, mate. But yeah, so it's everywhere. You know, it's in the news stories, it's in programs you watch. You know,
why do you think it's that? Is that a way of controlling people? Or
it's
how many people get money?
Don't upset the equilibrium because you know
you can crash.
20 years ago, to be self-employed,
Yeah.
you needed some money behind you. Like a
Definitely.
free-page website where you couldn't even alter would cost you £3,000.
Yeah, yeah.
We could sit here and build.
Easily.
I've just watched you like put something together really quickly on a design software and
Yeah,
throw it
yeah,
up there.
yeah.
Like you would have had to outsource that and not get it back for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
So the market's opened up a lot, but there's still this. Who am I to have this? I can't. You know, I can't. That's not my background. That's not right. It's not. Do you know, I've been doing a lot of research on the imposter syndrome.
Oh, there we go. Interesting. Come on, bring it up.
I can't think of a name. I'll have to find it for you. She gave a speech about how imposter syndrome started.
Yeah.
And so I went a bit further and I looked at it.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome didn't actually exist until the 1970s.
No way.
And it was two women, two psychologists.
Yeah.
And it was actually called the imposter phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
And what they it all correlated with women coming out of the kitchen,
All right.
going into work.
Yeah.
And
going into work, women. Yeah.
In a society where we didn't go after those kind of jobs.
Yeah.
So it was this, who am I to be in this room? Because we were breaking down barriers and stuff like that.
The stereotypes and men power and all that. Yeah.
And then being politically correct, and I want to stay off this if I can, the patriarchy switched it to imposter syndrome to make it sound like it was a medical condition, that is something actually physically wrong with you. But it's a natural reaction. It's actually a positive thing, because it's a natural reaction.
Yeah, I was
to
gonna say
you're
that.
pushing yourself out, or you're pushing yourself, you're learning, you're developing. And one of you
It's actually good.
It's actually good. And it's supposed to challenge you. But we've been taught it's a negative. Oh, you know, who are you to say this? Sit down, shut up. Don't
Because
speak.
it starts with the negative connotation, which is imposter.
No, it's not. It's the syndrome.
Yeah.
Because people see syndrome as a medical condition.
As a
as something that actually physically, mentally
and then
wrong with
imposter
you.
that is giving the wrong. Yeah.
So it's
wrong.
being communicated wrong.
Yeah.
It's actually it's like, oh, this stuff is, people are changing, people are developing.
Yeah.
And you were talking about failure earlier. I love this acronym. Failure, first attempt at learning. Like if they just put like if we went in with big ideas if we went into big ideas and said to these kids, first attempt at learning, that's fail. First attempt at learning. Because the first time you ever do anything, I don't know about you, but the first time I got in to drive, my first driving lesson, I was very glad when that lesson ended. I was like, what am I doing? First time I ever, I was given a child and said, here you go, you're going to look after them. I was like, no. Like, how do you change a nappy? How do you give them a bottle? But it's like, if they just switch that communication to like, you've got to fail to learn. Because I wouldn't know how to do all this.
Because it is a learning curve.
It's a learning curve.
We are not coming here like with all of these learnings or with all of this knowledge and skills. So we have to go through the process of learning for us to be in certain status or whatever we want to be.
And we accept certain things. So we accept that if we're going to be a vet, it's going to take us 7 to 9 years to study. We accept if we're going to be a barrister, it's going to take us 6 years to study. We accept if we're going to learn to drive, we might pass first time or we might pass the 16th time. But when it's something like, how am I going to change my beliefs around money? I need to do it right now.
That will take a little bit longer, isn't it?
It could take us short or as long as you want. You know, I'm 55 in June. Like, there's a lot of there's a lot. I know.
You don't look for real.
For real.
You don't look like 55.
I would like to say it's my makeup regime, but it's really not. It's like I am, lots of water, not smoking. But it's like I've got 55 years of history, like knowledge, like belief system of thoughts going through my head of what money is,
and then it's falling down.
And then it's all falling down.
Oh gosh.
You know, we were really rich when I was young, which is why I was bullied. I went on holiday. I'll never forget it. Going on holiday.
You were bullied because you were rich.
Girl. Oh yeah.
You live in an upside down world.
Well, it was around about 1975, 76, and I bounced into school after the summer holidays. Going, and the teacher went, "What did you do for your summer holidays?" I went, "Oh, I spent a month in Malta." And the kids in the class are going, "Malta?" Everybody else had been to a caravan in Skegness, and
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean you've not been on a plane? What do you mean you're not going for dinner twice a week? And like, we go out for dinner twice a week. Like, kids were like, I hate you. Yes, and that was like, that's when I started to notice it was something different. But then literally, overnight, my parents split up, and they didn't tell me it was happening, and we went from having this luxury lifestyle, which I didn't know was luxury, to living in a women's refuge.
Oh, gosh.
With everything in storage and only being allowed one toy. So it's like polar ends, like. But I didn't realise that people. I didn't realise kids weren't getting on a plane. I thought everybody went on a plane and went on holiday.
For you, everybody was there.
And then I was like,
you wouldn't notice, you wouldn't realise what's the reality is.
And then I got upset because I wanted to stay in a caravan. I was like, what do you mean we can't go on a caravan holiday? I want to go on a caravan holiday. Oh, the kids got to go. But kids you get labelled then. Yeah,
because you didn't fit in the community's links. Yeah. You know, I was on the other spectrum, on the other side of the line.
Yeah.
And I wasn't poor. We were kind of, my mom and my dad were kind of high, you know, in status at that time. But I was completely different.
Yeah.
I never fit in. I felt like I wasn't bullied due to my financial stability or something, finances or something. But I was bullied because I was always looking to the reasoning behind the actions.
Yeah.
I was always trying to find the why, to question. Exactly, question why that was happening that way.
Yeah.
And because I was a thinker, and I am a thinker.
Yeah.
You know, people will pick on you. Oh yeah, you have to think. And I remember myself actually trying to speak properly.
Yeah.
And due to that, people will bully me. Oh yes, you put in the S. Well, it might be going. And I was like, what if it's plural? It's an S. Yeah, but you know, when you speak fast, you don't normally say. You just go into jargons basically. And I was bullied a lot because I was, and I still am, this type of thing. I am different.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I got married and developing my self-esteem and all this stuff that I realized why I was bullied.
Yeah.
And why I went through the process. Normally, it is because you need to use that skill to help other people going through the same. Because then you see the reflection. And you know where to go, you know where to wait for the answers, or where to wait and apply some patience with people around.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's been one of life's biggest lessons.
Yeah.
Definitely. The whole reflection bit.
Yeah.
I think it took me a long time, and you know, when you talk to entrepreneurs, this is why they do what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
They've been through something's happened, and they've been through something.
Yeah.
But it's this whole it took me a long time to realise that we're not meant to fit in.
We're not.
No. Who defined these rules of fitting in? No. It's like, well, my best friend.
Yeah, who wrote those? Yeah.
I was sent a WhatsApp message this morning.
Yeah.
You better mention these. So this is a great segue into it.
Here we go.
So my best friend is a lovely little 5-year-old next door to me, and her 2-year-old sister. And when you look at those kids, the 2-year-old is fearless. Like, she's like the Tasmanian devil. Right, she's not learned.
Different, is it?
She's at that age where she's not picking up on the social unspoken things.
Yeah.
The 5-year-old is starting to pick up on it. You can see the change in her. She's starting to realise that certain things aren't socially acceptable.
Yeah.
But it's just exterior pressure from, you know, it's like, you know, why, you know, if they want to run around and be Disney princesses, let them run around and be Disney. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
It makes them
they
happy.
choose.
Yeah. It's just like, if they want to do that thing, let them do that thing.
As long as it's safe.
Yeah.
Why not? If they're sure.
As long as they're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's this whole, like, fitting in. If you don't fit in, there's something wrong with you.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wait till you have to study in a completely different country where your language is another language, where your color is another color.
Well, ironically, one of my other life's moments was because I followed the path.
Yeah.
And I should have gone to grammar school, but that's another story altogether. Ended up living in South Wales at 11, and then ended up going to London because I didn't get into university. Only 10% of the school actually went to university back then.
Yeah.
So I ended up in London, and And I know that I was really good at what I did. I was really good at my job, and I was like, I couldn't
It's a
understand
bit,
why I
yeah.
wasn't getting the interviews.
Yeah.
And then 20 years later, an HR client turned around to me and said, because you're Shemaine Robinson on paper, and they would have looked at you as a black lady.
Oh my God.
I know. And I've had the number of times people have gone, you're not black.
No.
And I'm like, no, I'm really not black.
I didn't know this.
And people, even recently, somebody's
Yeah,
gone to
yeah.
me, you're not black. No, I'm really not black. Really not black.
Shemaine, if I want to contact you, or if people listening want to contact you, what they should do?
That you can find me on the Instagram,
Yeah.
and I am Shemaine Lee Robinson. They can find me on Facebook under Shemaine Lee Robinson, and my website is shemaine.robinson.com.
Can you spell Shemaine?
Oh yeah, that'd be a good start, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because everybody spells it differently.
I noticed it.
So give me an S. Sorry. So it's SHAMAINE, and then Robinson, as in the jam, ROBINSON.
Awesome. Thank you very much,
Thank
Shemaine.
you for having me.
What we're gonna do, we're gonna go for a little break now, and we will come back after the news.
Sponsored by Cardiff Metropolitan University.
That's a lovely story you have there.
Thank you, lovely.
We have to talk about as well where you're coming from, because you said that you were born in a military
Yeah,
family.
we were born into a military
Yeah.
family.
So
Father
let's
was a
bring
Royal
it.
Marine.
Are you okay with talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
you
of course can, yeah, of course can.
If there is anything that I'm asking and you don't want to answer, just let me know. Like, I'm gonna pass on that, but you know.
Well, like I said to you earlier, I only realised 2 years ago my dad was there, so probably fighting the Vietnam War.
Oh wow.
Yeah, most of my family up until me served in the military. I got accepted for the army,
Yeah.
but there wasn't any places, so I went to London. And then they contacted me about 9 months later, and I didn't want to go then.
What do you mean to law? He was contacted for.
I went through all my army exams,
All right.
passed everything,
Right.
and then was told there was no openings at the moment. So I went
Radio
to.
Cardiff Local News.
I moved to London, and then 6 to 9 months later they contacted me
Yeah.
and said there was openings, but I didn't want to go in by then.
All right.
Yeah, so I didn't go in.
You wanted to be there.
At the time, yeah. Looking back, it wasn't meant to happen. I don't like being told what to do. And the army's all about being told.
Yeah,
I would have been
100%.
Yeah, I would be like, what?
What are you telling me?
Yeah, where are you at?
My dad, he was in the military as well.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to join the military. But my dad knew I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because like you, I didn't want to be so. Or even with my own dad, and my dad knew, well, that's not for you, so let's
Yeah, and I never, my parents divorced when I was 8, and I never really had the opportunity to ask my dad why he joined the military. I should probably get away from his mother, I think, because she was a tyrant.
All right.
Yeah, she
In
was
other
a proper
news,
control
a new
freak.
recycling method is being
Yeah.
rolled out across
Or
Cardiff.
just for money, because that was
Houses
well
throughout
paid
the capital
back
will
then
be
as
joining
well.
the
It was your life on
37,000
there,
others
you know, but.
that already
Well,
use
my
the
dad,
service.
we were 1 when I came out, so I don't remember anything like, I haven't even been back to Singapore. And then my dad came out and started working for the GPO, because it wasn't, British Telecom wasn't even a thing then. And it was my mum who got him into being a publican, and because they were actually really good looking people, drop dead.
Yeah.
And drop dead gorgeous. They'd walk into a room and everybody would be like, oh! And then I'd walk in and they'd be like, oh! So my dad got a lot of pubs to sort out. We went into a lot of troubled pubs. He was the one who went in and sorted them out, because he was 6'4", and you did not mess with my dad. Yeah.
That's a bit scary.
Yeah.
That is a
I've
bit
seen my dad
scary.
pull people over the bar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With a high of 20
Yeah.
degrees and a low
So what
of
we're gonna do, we're gonna go into a session that we call flow power, right?
No.
We're gonna do the flow power after we get back. Exactly. Hey. My lovely people, we are back on the studios. Yeah, this is all in all today. I have the lovely Shemaine Robinson on the studios. Shemaine, we're gonna continue with your story. Because you were talking to me about your background and how you were born, and I was like, whoa. Charmaine, what was that? How were you born? I don't know. Just take it over. No.
How was I born?
Yeah.
Do we need a medical doctor? So my parents lived in Singapore at the time.
Yeah.
My dad was a Royal Marine.
Yeah.
Was stationed in Singapore in 1967.
Yeah.
And I popped out in 1969.
Yeah.
Yes. So we lived in Singapore until 1971, I think.
Yeah.
And my dad came out of the army, and we came back to a place called Failsworth in Manchester. Yeah.
Oh wow. And then what happened? That you needed to.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it's funny the things you can remember when you were a kid.
Yeah.
My dad went to work for a government agency called the GPO, which then turned into British Telecom.
Yeah.
And then my mum was working in a pub down the road, and
Yeah.
next thing they were both being publicans. And we went. The first pub we got was a back end pub in Liverpool.
Right.
Can't remember the name of it, but I know I went to a school called St Andrews.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I was 4 years of age. I can remember it really clearly. That it was a very derelict. Upstairs was very derelict. There was
Right.
parts of it that you couldn't
Yeah, yeah.
like, go in near. And my parents worked all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So and there was no play area outside because we
Yeah.
were like. I mean, the Liverpool in the early 70s is
Yeah.
nowhere like what Liverpool now is like.
Yeah.
It wasn't a safe place.
But then to be born in a military
yeah.
basis.
Yeah, I was born. Oh yeah, I forgot that bit, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because that was the bit we were talking about. So I was born in Changi in 1969,
Mhm.
and I tell this is part of my story. I was
Mhm.
actually born in a prison.
In a
In
prison.
a prison.
Oh my God.
Because at the time it was the military. The military
Yeah.
just used to go in and take over places.
Mhm.
So the women's prison in Changi had the best medical facilities.
Yeah.
So, and I live in a town called POWERFULl at the moment where two other people were born in the same prison.
Oh my God.
Within 2 months of each other because their parents were all in Singapore at
Yeah.
the time serving for the military. So,
How do you feel about that?
I
It's
mean,
okay, isn't it?
yeah,
It's just
I
what it is.
It is what it is. I
Mm.
mean, now the military go in and build everything. You know, they'll
Mm.
build a hospital and they'll build
Yeah.
a school. Whereas back then it was like they just took over whatever they wanted and needed to because they were the military and that's what they did.
So what we are gonna do now, we're gonna go to our section flow power. I'm gonna start,
Cool.
and then you flow power flow
Ooh,
with whatever the topic we have.
okay.
Fantastic. Stay tuned, my lovely people. We're gonna continue with this motivational content.
Your mic's not working.
You ready?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're doing great.
I've gone right there, didn't I? It's a hot flash. It's a
We
menopausal
go.
flash.
Motivational.
It's suddenly got very quiet.
Our uniqueness, our essence, our skills, our background, our stories, our experiences, our stamp, our descriptions, even the hair on your hair, on your head, the hair on your skin, the color of your skin, everything that you can think of to describe the person who you are is, with no doubt, one of the biggest ways of describing your unique pathway, your unique purpose, your unique stamp on this earth. So never undermine the reasons why you have hair on your skin, or the reasons why you have hair on your legs, or the reasons why you have a spot on your face, on your mind, or the way that you think, the way that you manage yourself, the way that you think you are good or bad at something, the way that you enjoy music, the way that crazy that you move and dance, the way that you speak with joy, with love, or with sadness, or with, a different way that normally don't fit in society. Never underestimate the reasons of why you are yourself. Because being yourself, embracing totally who you are, embracing your stamp, embracing who you are, the way you look, the way you behave, the way you speak, the way you deal with situations that you might not like, the way that you are is the way that's gonna bless me, bless society, bless people around you, because nobody can be you but yourself. So use it to the best of your abilities, to the things that you want to achieve. But when you're using that, don't ever think that you're less than what you are, because you're beautiful, and your superpower is becoming yourself every day more, better, the best version of yourself. When you think about yourself, think about this beautiful plan and how to get to the point that you want to be. It's a dream. Dreaming is becoming, is getting to where you want to be. Your skills, your determination, your life can bless many people around yourself.
So you're here for a reason, and it took me a long time to learn this. You're here to, everything, you are born with everything you already need. You have to, as Zara says, you have to roar with it. You've got to claim your power. When you think you don't fit in, that bit that you feel that you're not fitting in about is actually your superpower, and somebody is watching you. We are a nation of watchers. People are watching you. They're watching for somebody to step outside of the flow, outside of the herd, so that they can go, you're my person. We live in a society where we can use our voices, and a lot of people won't speak up because it's like, I don't want to be criticised, I don't want to be shot down, I don't want somebody to say something negative. But the thing that is going to come out of your mouth is going to be the thing that that person in the room needs to hear.
Yeah.
I was at an event recently where Zola was there, and we were asked to give what would our 14-year-old self say to ourselves, and I actually found myself saying something very controversial about my family, and in my head I was like, where did that come from? And afterwards 3 girls in the room came up to me and said that they needed to hear that from me, and I nearly burst into tears. So it's what you take as just normal. Everybody else is looking and going, why can't I do that? Why can't I be like that? Why can't I be like bubbly? And you don't always have to be bubbly, because life needs the quiet people as well. We need the thinkers, and we need the people we just need people to stand up. We need people to go, I know who I need to be. I can feel it in my bones. The reason I'm upset is because I'm not expressing it. And find the people to come out to around that, because sometimes you can come out to the wrong people and they will try and put you back in your box. So he's like, find your person who you can go up to and actually, I disagree with that, or I don't like that, or I want to do this, I want to do that. Because we've never lived in a time where it's been so important that people do stand up. We are definitely living through some level of revolution.
We just need people who can become themselves.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to laugh out loud. It's okay to burst into tears. It's okay to be angry and upset. It's okay to have a meltdown. It's okay to say the wrong words. It's okay. It's, but it's learning from that.
Yeah.
Why am I upset? Why am I angry? People need that, and people are watching for that to happen, because when you do that, other people will join you.
Yeah, because it's contagious, isn't it?
It is.
It is contagious, and we just need people who can be people, like be themselves.
Yes, we need people to step forward. There's too much vanilla.
Copy.
There's too much vanilla and beige going on.
Yeah.
We need people to go, actually, I don't agree with what you're saying. You don't necessarily have to say to the person, I don't agree with what you're saying. Afterwards, you can go, I just don't agree with what. You can have this conversation in your head. You can decide not to be in that room.
Yeah.
You can decide to take yourself out of that friendship or out of that relationship or
Yeah.
out of that family,
Yeah.
or just you can wake up and
Just
go,
be you.
Just be you.
Mhm.
Just be you.
And disagree if you need to disagree. You don't have to fit in disagreement, pretending that you are agreeing, like you said before.
It's interesting you say disagreement, isn't it?
Mhm.
Because it's like you have a voice. And
Mhm.
just because you say something that I do, which is the opposite of me, does
Yeah.
not necessarily mean it's disagreement.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful that we live in a country where we can say these
When
things.
we can talk.
Where we can talk.
Happily, we still can talk in
Yeah.
the UK, which is really good.
Yeah. One thing I will say is have a dream
Mhm.
and then find the right people to support you for that dream, because not
Definitely.
everybody is going to support you.
Yeah.
Some people are going to think you've lost it.
Yeah.
You've lost it. She needs to be locked up. And and you can identify those people straight away, because they will say to you,
Yeah.
no, we don't do things like that around here.
And then if you have at least if you kind of offer the seed, many people will be able to follow as well.
Everything we see, touch, integrate, use every single day has been developed because somebody was strong enough to step forward. Everybody thought Da Vinci was bonkers. Everybody thought
Especially
Tesla was
for
bonkers.
the women.
Especially for the women.
For the women.
Everybody-
Come on, empower my women.
Everybody thought the suffragettes was nothing
Yeah,
but
yeah.
women that needed to be put back in their box.
Yeah.
But I honour my ancestors by speaking up and voting, because they literally gave their lives for us
to have that right.
to have this right.
Yeah. 100%.
100%.
I take pleasure when I'm saying your name, Shemaine.
I
Shemaine, it was a pleasure to have you here. Hopefully we can have you here in another time as well. But for now, we have to say bye-bye to our audience. Is there one last thing that you want to say, an advice, a warning, I don't know, to our audience to become the best version of themselves?
I tell my clients all the time, you already know what you need to do. You already know the person you want to be. You already know the changes.
Yeah.
The question is, are you brave enough to do it?
Are you brave enough for the challenge?
Are you brave enough for the challenge? Because if you don't do it, you're going to be triggered by somebody who you see 6 months down the line doing it.
Thank you, Shemaine. My
Thank you.
lovely people, it's been a pleasure being here with you all. Remember, every Saturday from the 98.7 FM and live on our YouTube channel from 2 o'clock. My lovely Shemaine, I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for having me.
Respect you.
Respect
Keep
you.
going doing
Thank you,
your
Sam.
work. Thank you, Sam. On behind the cameras, hey, from Peacock Media Studio. You can follow up, on Instagram. And Sam, do you have YouTube? No, she's still on the verge.
That's a sign of work in progress.
He's progressing on that. She's working on that. My lovely people, thank you for tuning in. See you next Saturday. Bye. Thank you very much. Thank you. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure to have you.
Should
Have you?
Guys, gone really quick.
Yeah.
I know.
I think I told you, like, it seems like a lot, but no, it just goes.
So you do one show. I don't know what to. You do one show a week, do you?
Yeah. Weekly.
Yeah.
Shoot you in.
Look at you.
I
Like
know.
multi-dimensional, ain't you? Like, look, I was reading all the things on the bottom there, like, yeah. So, are you in Cardiff? Or are you outside Cardiff? Where do you live?
I am in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Hold on, just a second. I am in Cardiff and I am on the outside